Yo, there's a brand new legendary champion coming into Raid Shadow Legends probably next week, and in this video I'm going to go over her skills, abilities, whether she's going to be useful, and how you can obtain multiple copies of her. You might have already heard the news that we're talking about in Raid that they posted on their Twitter regarding Fragment Exchange. You know those old fragments that you've had for older fusions or old fragment event that ended and you did not complete? You can now make those fragments into this new legendary champion that's coming up. Her name is HighMother Maud, and I'll check her skills, whether she's worth your old fragments or not. Now, a lot of people have given their feedback when they release this information that you can now make, not just get her, but you can get 3-star chicken, rank 5, rank 4, XP brews, and other great potions, skill tomes, both rare, epic, and legendary skill tomes by fragments from old fragment that ended. But even if you don't want mod, but in this video I'm going to see whether she's going to be worth all these your old fragments, or whether she's not even going to be worth it at all, whether it's going to be better to go for the legendary skill tome and all that when you want to use your old fragments. I'm especially excited about this one because I do have lots of old fragments saved up. If I can switch to my game right here, I do have old fragments. If you've been playing long enough and doing old fusions or old fragment events, you end up with, I'm not talking about these ones that you eventually fuse on someone. I'm talking about champions like Krilla, which I have 75 fragments for and I never completed, and one of the Yoshi the Drunkard, a fusion, a fragment event that I missed out on because I was out of time, I think. And Elegaias, which I have 40 fragments extra right here from his event that went down. Back then they used to do this fragment event and they gave us extra fragments a lot, and if you won those events or if you won tournaments, first place, second place, you get extra fragments. So I was getting a lot of those back then. And then share the chart, which we are still gonna wait for 20 years to eventually get. And Door the Hunger epics, yes, and I also have 20 extra broad. You get the point. All these extra fragments for all these champions, we've been saying they're sitting right here and doing nothing. They were asking for ways for them to make us able to use them or eventually get the champion. And yes, there are some which you definitely don't want the champion, like this 30, 20 from. I have 3 copies of Iron Brago. I do not have a Krilla the Witch Champ, but it's not a champion that I want extra 25 fragments to complete. I'll gladly just give her at 75 up for another new champion right here. So this is where the resource that will be used to make this new legendary champion that is coming into the game called HighMother. So let me know in the comments if you think it's going to be worth your fragments and which of your fragments you'll be using gladly to get and fuse into her to eventually get her. Do you even want multiple copies of her? Let's find out her skills, her abilities. Character design looks awesome. She looks like a what's this faction now that has to do with the church? Secret Order. She does look like a Secret Order faction from all the cross on her. I think this is gonna be a Secret Order. So let's check out her champion skills for the first time and decide whether she's gonna be worth it. She's a support legendary champion, like I said, Secret Order, so I was right. Her name, HighMother Maud. So we're gonna call her HighMother. A1. After reading what I think about it, I'll tell you what Playroom thinks about this champion and what they have to say about her. On the A1, this champion has a 50% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack on the A1 is useful, but on a legendary, a 50% chance of placing it is weird because there are epics who do it better. That's what I'm saying. So for 2 turns, also has an 80% chance of placing increased attack buff on the ally with the highest attack. So she's gonna buff an ally. So that decreased attack on the A1 that has a 50% chance of landing is strange. Well, it can be booked up to a 70% chance. Why not a 75% chance? And normally then when you book it is a 100% chance of landing a decreased attack on the A1. It's not like it's not an AoE decreased attack. It's a single target decreased attack. So I'm wondering why that decreased attack is not a 100% chance of landing. It's a strange A1. I'm already disappointed by the A1, but let's hope that the A2 will make me feel a little bit better by this champion skills. On the A2 calls Anointed Phalanx. She attacks AoE everybody. She attacks everybody, has a 75% chance of decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn. We like that. No, by 2 turns. It's not a It's not going to strip them of all their buffs, but it's just going to reduce the duration of their buffs. It's basically going to remove their buffs. But these days, most people have buffs that cannot be removed, but there is a use case for this one to decrease the duration of enemy buffs, which is just like stripping it off, I think. So that's a good A2, but let's see. It then increases the duration of all buffs by 1 turn. On our allies, right? And also ease all allies by 20% of this champion's max HP. We like to see that a heal that is based on how much HP is going to be huge. That means this is really a support champion. It's just going to build up very tanky, high HP. So whenever she uses this A2 skill, which can be booked up to a 3-turn cooldown, it's going to be 100% chance of decreasing the duration of enemy buff. That means high accuracy will be required on this champion. High accuracy, high HP. That's what the A2 is telling us to do right here. On a 3-turn cooldown, 100% chance of decreasing duration, and of course, increase our own allies' buffs by 1 turn. Definitely a useful A2. We've seen other champions who can do similar stuff. We've seen it, but this is a very, very welcome one. Yeah, we will see a use case for her in some content, especially if you don't have a buff stripper yet for the enemy. If you have a Kaima, if you have a Yumeko, no, not Yumeko now. Talking about, yeah, Yumeko does something similar, decrease duration of enemy's turn though, but she doesn't deal with increased duration of buffs. And who else? Madame Series. I'm thinking Polymorph will just take care of this one. So I'm thinking of to use this one more in PvE content, in Centranos, in some other content. Hydra, definitely going to be useful for this type of content, but this is not going to look good in PvP. Let me know in the comments where you think this will be useful, but I like it so far. Let's see the A3, Psalm of Revival. It's a 4-turn cooldown when booked, 6 if not booked. It will revive all dead allies. That's what you want from a support champion, not just a heal, a big heal, and also a revive. AoE, bring everybody back to life who went down, with 50% HP and 50% turn meter already filled up for them. If an ally's defense is equal or higher than their attack, it will place increased defense. If an ally's attack is higher than their defense, it will place increased attack. So she's gonna buff them, ready for them to do damage, whether they are based on defense damage dealers or attack damage dealers. She will just give them the required buff, ready for them to take their turn. 50% turn meter fill is not like 100%. They're not going to take their turn instantly, but at least they'll come closer to getting their turn and be buffed already with increased attack or increased defense in order to do damage. So they are trying to make you use this champion in PvP, but all I'm seeing right here is PvE abilities. But I guess there can be use case for this. AoE revive is always useful in some content in PvP. All right, that revive impressed me along with the healing. So she feels like a good reviver, a good healer, a good reviver. And they are just trying to add extra things like the buff strip to make her more viable in a lot of places, because just revive and heal alone is not enough. That's why she's buffing with defense or attack. That's why she's also decreasing duration of enemy buffs. So let's see on the passive, she removes 1 random debuff from all allies at the start of this champion's turn. Now this passive just made her go extremely useful. Extremely useful. At the start of her turn, of course, you're going to build your support characters fast, so they can always be available to revive. So that means she's going to be removing 1 debuff from all allies, just like a Doom Priest. Because despite Doom Priest being an epic champion, there are cases where a 3-turn cooldown on a full team cleanse is just not enough. You need somebody who does a cleanse of 1 buff every time. That's why Doom Priest is so viable in every content. I don't care whether it's clan boss, dungeons, whether it's Hydra, whether it's what do you call it now, even PvP. I've seen Doom Priest being used in some content like that. So this champion is going to be a replacement, especially Doom Tower, where we use a lot of Doom Priest. So she's just going to be like a, now pair them together to be even crazy. Cleanse. So I like that. I like the passive more than any other thing I've read so far. Well, I like the revive also. A full team revive is good. Doom Priest does not revive. Doom Priest just no. Doom Priest just does healing, and it's not. It does like a maximum full HP heal based on high HP, but this is a better one. She also places 15% continuous heal, the big version, on the ally with the lowest HP, just in case they don't have enough healing coming up. She's just gonna heal them. So this her cleanse does not do healing. Her A2 is the only one that does healing. At the end of her turn, they should have put some healing into this passive, just like Doom Priest cleanse does a little bit of healing, a little bit, right? So that's a good one. That's a good skill. Now, is this a champion you want one copy of? 2, 3, and 4. What I mean 4, I mean you're getting multiple copies of her to get her not ascended. What's the name now in the game? Where you get multiple copies of his champion. I've never done it, so I don't know what it's called. Let me quickly check that portal right here. Yeah, it's definitely not the Forge. Empower. Is this a champion that you want multiple copies of her so you can empower her like this? I don't think so. I don't think she's worthy of empowerment. So, but just because a lot of people have multiple fragments saved up before, they might get one copy of her and then go ahead and start getting multiple copies to use in other content. Second copy of her, third copy of her. I don't think she's a champion. Duchess still feels like a better support than this champion. That's why I'm saying now, if you have 2 Duchess, you don't use one to empower the other one. You use both of them. So this is going to be a champion where you have one copy of her. If you have enough saved up old fragments to get a second copy, you get her and use both of them. You don't use the second copy to empower her. That's what I'm thinking about her skills. Or even if you use them as faction guardians, that can be always a good way. I'm saying that because a lot of people might have a lot of fragments and they'll have the ability, once she's launched, to make 2 copies of her. Also, the rewards I'm seeing right here for other things you can do with your old fragments: the XP bruise, the barrel, the chicken, whether 3 to 5 star, the feast, the great potion, the skill tomes, whether it's legendary. I don't think a lot of people will use old fragments for these other rewards. So player should have done something about it. I understand that epics, if you have old epics that have 30, 40 fragments, definitely those fragments cannot be used to get HighMother. I think they've not explained it yet, but you can see it in the beginning right here. 1 exchange point for 1 legendary champion fragment. So you need 100 fragments of her. So I don't think the epics will be used to make her. So let's see when this new fragment exchange is launched, and we're able to see how we can obtain her. For now, I just wanted to go over her skills, abilities, and see whether she's going to be worth your old champion fragment. And for me, 1 copy is enough. I wouldn't go crazy and start getting multiple copies of her. Is this something that might maybe rotate in the future? Because initially we thought it's just 1 copy of her and that's it. But this might be an idea for most players who want to save their old fragments for an upcoming fusion or for a clan versus clan tournament that is going to come up in the future. You can now begin to use your old fragments that you have, like I have for Legaeus, make her up to 100 and keep her just like I'm keeping Xenoblade Blade Master on Team of the Fool. So you can use it during CVC to get 30,000 points, or during a fusion or a champion chase to get some points that way. So she might be a champion we use for that purpose. You're not fusing her from this portal because she's going to help you in one content. You're fusing her from this portal because you want 100 fragments of her so she can get you some points. So it's still a good one for newer players like my noob to pro. She's definitely going to be useful in that faction. Definitely. So for newer players, this is going to be huge. But newer players don't have a lot of old fragments. But if you've been unlucky enough as a newer player, you ended at 95 fragments for a fusion, 80 fragments for a fusion due to lack of resources. Now you have a way of using those old fragments to get a new legendary that is seeming like it's going to be good, like your normal support champions. You have the Arbiters, the Duchess, and all that. But she has unique kit, just like you just saw me read through. And I like it so far. It's not, I don't hate it. I like the passive that cleanses 1 debuff every turn. I like the A3 that has an AoE revive right here, and the A2 that has the heal for your allies right here by her own based on her own max HP. That's gonna be a huge heal right here. It will take anybody that she heals to full HP, I think, if you build her up to 80 and above K HP. So let's see by next week when this champion is finally launched in this Fragment Exchange. I don't know where they're gonna add that. I think it will be in the portal. I think they'll put it right here, somewhere here. I don't know though. I've not seen any pictures of what it will look like, but I know it will maybe a new tab somewhere here in the summoning portal, the fragment summoning portal, I hope. So let's see what raid is getting more complicated, more things added, but this one is good because we've been complaining all this while about what to do with these old fragments, and they answered. This is them listening to the player base and thinking of what can we do that will not break the game. Should we give them old fragments to complete this, or should we just give them a new champion? Then they went with a new champion. So it will be up to you whether you want to hold on to your old fragments or it's worth going for. Even for the convert all this to some sacred shard. What do you think 75 Krilla which arm fragment will get me? Maybe is it what 4 legendary skill tomes or 2 legendary champions like this can get me 1 of her? I hope the exchange is fair, because if it's not fair, people are going to complain that you're expecting me to use 90 fragments from a good champion to get 50 fragments for a not so good support champion. So I hope they make it a fair exchange where if you have 100 fragments of Timmy the Fool, you can get to 90 fragments of this new champion. They don't make 100 fragments equal to 50 for this new champion. I don't know how the exchange will be, but they talked about it. I don't understand what they mean by 1 exchange point for 1 legendary, but I hope it's going to be a fair one when we see it in the game. What do you make of this new legendary champion, HighMother Maud? Do you think is one that you will go for, or one that you just keep your fragments for something else in the future when you finally get 100 of them? Will they ever release fragments for you to get those old ones complete? I don't think so, because they've been in your inbox for your fragment portal for too long. So once this launches, I'm going to be using all those my old fragments to probably get this new champion or get some legendary skill tomes. Definitely not epic skill tomes, not going to be worth it for that. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this new champion HighMother coming into the game. I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Later, guys.